There are a lot of great biopics that could be made. I'm just gonna start listing the ones that I would love to see, starting with Barbara Gardner Proctor, the first Black woman to own and operate her own advertising agency in the United States. Before she owned her own ad agency, she actually helped bring the Beatles to the United States. So at the time, the Beatles were big in the UK. When they were trying to get an introduction to the United States, they went to Capitol Records. But Capitol Records was like, bro, I'm not taking a chance on you. But Vee-Jay Records, which was a Black-owned label that mainly focused on like R&B, which was like the Dells and the Four Seasons, said, we will. And at the time, Barbara Gardner was working there as a editorial director. She was in charge of helping with the promotional materials for other artists, including the Beatles. So she was responsible for helping craft their image and their marketing for their American audience and help push their first US album, which was introducing the Beatles. Later on, Capitol Records does pick them up, and she moves on to work for a white advertising firm. And at that time, she would go by her married name, which was Proctor, because somebody was already named Gardner at the agency. While she worked there, she earned 21 awards. But later on, they wanted to use the civil rights and marching, have these like women go out in the street and like protest unless the hairstylist used this phone for a marketing campaign for hair care products. And she was so offended by it that she refused to do it. And so, of course, they fired her. She decided, you know what? I'm going to constantly get fired because my integrity will not allow me to do certain things. And I'm always going to stand up for my people and the imagery that we're going to project and advertise to them. So she went and secured $1,000 loan from a Black bank to create Proctor and Gardner Advertising. Now, at the time, she actually was divorced from her husband, but she felt like with that type of name, they're going to assume there's a man working here. What was so dope about her is she had such integrity that she wouldn't work for like cigarette brands, hard liquor brands, because she didn't want to advertise to her people that way. And despite all the racial and gender barriers, she still secured big deals with brands like Kraft, Illinois Bell, and Jewel Foods. She would take that $1,000 loan and turn it to a multi-million-dollar empire. And that integrity of saying no to things that just did not align with what she felt should be advertised to her people did not stop her from becoming the second largest Black-owned advertising agency in the United States. But on top of that, she was also a single mother, and she did not put her work over her son. So she had certain things about the way that she would handle business. Like she wanted to make sure she could say good morning to her son, or she wanted to make sure she could say good night to her son. And she wouldn't take certain clients that took her too far away from Chicago. Eventually, her agency would go bankrupt, but her story and all of the ways, and this is just a less than 5-minute version of her extraordinary, inspirational ass life, she makes for the perfect biopic. And I feel like most people don't know about her. I learned about her when I read Think and Grow Rich, the Black version. Have you heard of her? Would you be interested in seeing her story on the big screen? And if you want to know more biopics that I think they should do about people that you may or may not have heard of, or events that happen that you may or may not have heard of, let me know and I will keep this going. Okay, see you in the comment section.